Hey everyone, this is Laura at Lyman Joy. Are you behind in your bills and sick and tired of feeling just like you're drowning? Then I want you to stick around because I'm going to show you how to get out of that feeling today. Hi everyone, this is Laura at Lyman Joy. For those of you that don't know me, I'm a wife, a medical coder, and a mom of 6, and I'm on a journey to become debt-free and break generational cycles of debt. And today I want to go ahead and help you, if you're behind on your bills, to get all figured out and budgeted out so that it can be less stress and you can find freedom. Look, at being behind on bills can be stressful, but there are some steps that you can take to catch up and manage your financial situation. If you're watching this, then you probably are feeling the stressful juggle of not having enough while working constantly and getting nowhere. I understand because I have been there, but the good news is you don't have to stay here, but you do have to be ready to fight for freedom to break free from this problem. You need to have the right mindset that enough is enough, and if you do, well, then here's a step-by-step guide to help you navigate through this difficult time. Okay, the first thing you're going to do is assess your situation. You're going to take an honest look at your financial situation. Write down all of your bills and the amount that you're past due, as well as their due date and their amount that each of these are on a monthly basis. Once you have this, then you're able to kind of go from there. This is a budget that I have received from a friend of mine, and she's a single mom making $3,000 a month. We're going to use her budget for this example. Right now, on her current budget, she is behind on her electric bill, and she's behind on her cable bill, and she is right now still negative $52 every month from her income coming in. So it has to feel super stressful when you don't have enough money to pay your bills. So let's figure this out together. Hopefully this will help you kind of be able to plug your numbers in and get a good game plan on what you should do for your behind bills. Okay, next thing to do, number 2, prioritize your bills. And prioritizing your bills, this is probably one of the most important and revealing parts of the process. We're going to go ahead and put it all out based on urgency and consequences of non-payment, and most important to the least important. We're going to use a concept called the 4 walls concept, and this typically refers to basic requirements that a person needs to survive and do well. These are often symbolized by the 4 walls of a home, representing shelter and protection, but this is both physically and emotionally. So this is really looking at the whole person and making sure that they're taken care of. Okay, the first wall is food. This is going to involve having enough food and nourishing food to sustain yourself and your family for the next month. Look, it's important for your family to have food in their bellies to be able to think and thrive at school, at work. There is a few different ways I want you to try to save money here. One is you can use apps like Fetch, Ibotta, and Walmart. I'll link a video here that explains how to use these, but simply put, you place your Walmart pickup order on Ibotta, attaching coupons. Once you place that order, its receipt gets sent automatically to Fetch, and you get points there. So you're making money on the Ibotta app and the Fetch app, and you're not going into the store if you do a Walmart pickup order. You're just picking it up and go, which will make it so less impulse buys happen, and you can order only what you need for your budgeted friendly meals. I do encourage you, to Google budget friendly meals that stretch. There's lots out there that can really help you kind of stretch your dollar, as well as using discount stores like grocery outlets or Aldi's, or stores that are just a little bit more on the discounted side from Overflow. And lastly, if you are in a place that has any kind of pantries, I want you to go ahead and do that. Those are really helpful just to kind of cut the bill as small as possible and take that extra money and throw it at your behind bills. This will kind of fuel you to get caught up more quickly. A month or two of discipline here really can free up quite a bit of money, and those pantries often give quite a bit of food to kind of hold you over. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and budget hers as we go along here. I'm going to show you how I would do it for hers. So food is number 1. And if you see here, she allots food for the 1st and the 15th, $500 total for the month. So let's do that for our first 4 wall. So we have food. It's due on the 1st and the 15th for $500 total a month. and she's not overdoing it. All right, the next wall is shelter, the physical place where you sleep. This is going to include having a safe and comfortable place to live, ensuring that you have a roof over your head and that it's secure environment. So I've been at all walks of life, like I told you. So this could be something at like a local shelter, or staying with a friend, maybe even your car if you have a safe place to park it, or renting an apartment, a house, or even owning a home. Whatever your situation is, that should be your next wall. You have food, now you need a roof over your head of some kind. So let's do that. Hers is rent. She rents where she lives, and she has to pay that, looks like, on the first of the month, and she pays $13.40, and she's not behind on rent, which is great. If you were behind on rent, this is what you would tackle first in your bill. So whatever is the highest up on the 4 walls, that's where you're going to start to pay off. That's my opinion there. Next in the walls is utilities. So you need to make sure to keep the lights on and the water running. And once you have the food and shelter in place. So these are going to be things for her like electricity, but sometimes you also have, trash and water that you have to pay for. She said hers is included. So her electric comes out, looks like on the 2nd. And let's see here. And she pays $150 a month. And looks like she's behind $400. Let's go ahead and put that right here. Okay. And a couple things to say on this, it's important, is that, making sure that you can if you have air conditioning, turning it up 1 or 2 notches will help bring down that bill. Just being really conservative with turning off your lights. If you're in this situation, you probably already are, but it's interesting, kind of like a challenge I've done for my kids in the past, like, hey, how much money can we save? And it gets everybody kind of in the mindset that we're not going to waste our money on our utilities. So just something there. Next and last in the 4 walls is transportation. You cannot go and get food, take your kids to school, or go to work if you don't have transportation. If you're fortunate enough to have a bus system, you could use that, or you have a friend you could carpool with. But if you have a car, you need to make sure to include that in these 4 walls, if that's a car payment, or a car insurance in her case. And that looks like hers is due on the 2nd for $51, and she's not behind on that. It will also include, let's see here, gasoline, which again, see here, she does the 1st and the 15th for $250 total a month. So $125 each paycheck she allots, and she's not behind on that either. All right, so now the 4 walls are all taken care of: food, shelter, utilities, and transportation. This is really the foundation to make sure that you're taken care of and your human needs are met. Everything over this is technically not necessity. This is what I want you to remember. If you can pay your 4 walls, take a deep breath, that's a good start. Now let's move on. I'm going to record all of her other bills here, and then we're going to go through how to save money in these areas, what should be cut, what should stay, and how we should do it. All right, let me go ahead and record this, and then we'll keep going. All right, we have it all mapped out, and so now we're ready for the next step. The 3rd step would be to cut unnecessary expenses. I want you to temporarily, hear that, temporarily, it's not forever, eliminate or reduce any kind of spending, such as like dining out, entertainment, non-essential subscriptions, and I want you to redirect them towards your overdue bills. So let's look at what she has here. She has a phone. If you're somewhere that has a government phone and you can apply and qualify for it, this may be a good option for you. I know they have them all over in a few different states, and then your bill could be $0, freeing up an extra $100. But if that's not the case, and for her it wasn't the case, she needed her phone, so we'll move on to the next one. We have her credit card number 1 and her credit card number 2, making sure these are just the minimum payments, and then Netflix. And now I see here we have Netflix, Hulu, and cable. Okay, so 3 different kind of streaming sources. It's going to be important here to see what we can do to free up some money. So the first thing I would say is I went ahead and looked around some discounted stuff, and there's actually some cable promotions right now that she could get it at like $40. So the first thing she's doing is going to pay this off, but once it's paid off, she should call and get a new subscription, and we're going to cross this out and do $40. Also, the Hulu is more expensive than Netflix. I asked her which one she preferred. She'd rather the Netflix. So we're going to cancel Hulu. And let's see, go all the way across, and we're going to be adding $20 then. So let's put that there. After those are all cancels, we now have a $20 credit instead of, minusing $20. Plus we have a $30 credit now on the cable. Okay, next she has Spotify and Audible. She said she could live without either of those. So that's going to give us another 10 and another 15 to work with. So let's cancel those there. And again, this is just temporary. These are easy apps that you can get again later on. Next, she had clothing, car maintenance, and emergency fund, just $10 a month being put aside so that she could have some money. But for right now, we're going to take all that money and throw it at her behind bills, and then she can restart with a new, kind of balanced budget in the future. So again, we're going to add another 10 here, here, and here. It's actually a little easier to see. Let me just do all of those really quick. All right, and we're going to cross those out there. So these are gone as well. Then she has childcare at the end, okay? This had actually plus 30. It just, the new total was 40. Hopefully that makes sense. So now let me go ahead and add her the new amounts and see how much expenses she actually has. So let's do this really quick. She has 500. So I'm going to skip over the red parts because those are now credited towards her income, and we're not going to take them off. We're only adding what she pays. So we're going to add in the $40 for the new cable bill and $300 for it. So now she has $28.22 will be her total expenses because I did not include the added money back to pay off her overdue amounts. I hope that makes sense. Okay, her total income was, as we said in the beginning, $3,000. Right here, I put $3,000 what we're working with, and she still has $3,000. So now if I take the $3,000 and I minus $28.22, she has $178 left over. This is a big improvement from being negative $52, having $178. I know it's still not enough to get her completely caught up on her overdue amounts, but this is a really good start. Okay, so we've figured out our 4 walls. We've figured out what we need to get rid of and what we need to take care of, and now we have $178 left over. That's $178 is going to go towards the $400. Anything that we were able to save on our food will also go towards the $400, because whatever's within the 4 walls, from the top of the 4 walls to the bottom, you'll pay off first, then move to the bills down here, because these are the most important things, right? Okay, but I do want to talk about a few other ways that you can maybe free up some money and get this figured out. So I noticed that her electric bill is the one that's behind. And from personal experience, I know that if you call your electric company, not in every state, but I've heard this in a few different states, they often have payment repayment plans, they have discounts, or even based on income, ongoing discounts, and even a one-time maybe credit towards your account for being low income and being in hard times. So it's worth a phone call. I want you not to just ignore your bills, but reach out to creditors, lenders, service providers today. Try this today. I want you to explain your situation, be honest about your financial difficulty, and ask, hey, what do you have? Do you have anything? I've never done this before. I really need some financial help. Having financial assistant programs are all over different states. So reach out to, local governments, community programs. Sometimes they have programs that may provide essential bills like utility and housing money. So doing that can help kind of get some money, put it towards that, and that way you can free up your 4 walls and start focusing on your other ones. Also, negotiate with your creditors. Some creditors may be willing to negotiate like a lower payoff amount or a revised payment plan, especially if you're willing to kind of talk about it. So I remember one time I was behind on my electric bill. I went ahead and called them, and they actually gave me a payment plan, and they discounted my monthly bill going forward, and they gave me a one-time credit. So it went from, I think at that time I was like $1,200 I was behind. It was crazy. And they credited $600, and then they took the rest of $600 and spaced out over a whole year. And so I only had like $50 a month that I had to pay on top of my normal bill. And this was very doable. And I just paid a little extra when I had extra more than the 50. And when I didn't, I just paid the 50. And it just took so much stress away. So ignoring your bills just creates stress. Addressing them and creating a plan is going to empower you. Okay, I want you to remember that. Same for my water bill. I remember one time I had to figure that one out as well, and the company had a one-time credit to erase my bill and start over. So it never hurts to ask and call and go through every single one that you're behind on and figure out what you can do to free up more money. Okay, once you have a budget overview, you know what you're going to work on first, all going down, and how to pay your bills, then I want you to consider really how can you make some more money. The faster you can make some more money and break free from, the income problem, the faster you'll be able to pay off this amount. And, hopefully, who doesn't need a little extra money in their pocket? So I want you to consider some side gigs. I have done them all, so let me suggest some. Uber Eats, DoorDash, they're great. I actually used to put the kids to bed and then go out and do that, and my husband be home, or we would switch off. So that was awesome. Instacart's a really good option as well. Or if you aren't able to leave your home, things like Survey Junkie, an app for doing surveys. I was able to make some money off of that. And I already told you about my grocery saving apps that I would definitely utilize. I don't know if this is everywhere, but I know in California they have OHM hours that you can go ahead and apply for and make money off of. This is a really neat way to save money on your electricity bill and actually earn different gift cards. So look into that where you are, any kind of money saving program, incentivization kind of a thing, and utilize that to go ahead and gain gift cards so that you have money to put towards different things and cut costs, okay? But I also want to say that if you have us all mapped out, and once you get caught up, the really most important part is that you never get in the situation again. So I want you to learn how to create a budget. I'm going to put a video right here on how to create a step-by-step budget and how to do the cash envelope method, which I think will be super powerful for somebody who's just starting off and breaking free from being behind on their bills. I'm also going to put another video here if you're in debt and you need to create a sustainable plan to pay off your debt once you're caught up on your bills. I want you to remember that catching your bills, it does take time and dedication, but I want you to stay patient, stay committed to your plan, and just make adjustments along the way. You got this, and find joy along the journey, and I'll see you next time.